Welcome to this week's Morning Manna. We're going to take a look at different stories found in Scripture where we see how God displays His favor in the lives of so many different characters in the Bible. Today, we will begin with Moses. From the beginning of Moses' birth, his mother protected him by fashioning a basket, setting it afloat in the Nile River. And she does this in hopes of her child surviving the tactic and the death execution of the current Pharaoh. Now, at first glance, this all seems like a notion that was Moses' mother's. It looks like it's her idea, but the reality is that God is actually behind all of this. You see, God stands true to His promise that He made with Abraham, and He does so by marking Moses' life. Despite the fact that Moses displayed weakness and at times impatience, his story, however, demonstrates how the Lord uses imperfect people to accomplish His perfect purpose. Moses was hesitant to answer God's call because he often felt inadequate and he was slow in speech. Yet, in God's strength, Moses led an entire nation, the nation of Israel. He led them out of captivity in Egypt and helped them obey the Lord's commandments. Not only did the Lord equip Moses with the skills that he needed to lead, but He also revealed Himself to Moses in a very personal way. And that's because Moses' life was marked. He had God's favor on his life. I want you to write this down. If you're journaling, here's what I want you to write down. Favor is directly connected to God's providence. Now, you might ask, what is providence? Well, I'm glad you asked. Providence is the active and divine foresight and intervention of God. I like to say that it is the absolute sovereignty of God. And even more, I really love how Dr. Tony Evans explains it. He says that providence is one of the most important things that you need to know in your Christian experience. The first most important thing, of course, we know is the gospel. We need to know how faith in Jesus Christ leads us to eternal destiny through the forgiveness of sin. But following that truth, he says, is the most important thing, and that is the concept of providence. In essence, providence is the hand of God in the glove of history, and that includes past, present, and future. Therefore, we or no one else has the final say of His favorable hand in your lives. Here's the point for both you and I. God qualifies the call. If He's called you, which by the way, He's called every believer, if He's favored you and if He's marked you, that is His decision and His decision alone. You see, He is faithful to bring you into all that He has promised. Today, why don't you take a moment to tell yourself, I am favored and marked by God. If you need to pause this and say it again, do it. I'm favored and I'm marked by God. Well, join me again right here tomorrow for day 2 of Morning Manna.